The estimated deficit of the Polish National Health Fund is 14 billion zloty this year and over 20 billion zloty next year. Also last week, the National Health Fund received an additional 3.5 billion zloty from the state budget for settlements with medical facilities. In total, the subsidy for the fund in 2025 has amounted to 32 billion zloty so far. However, the situation is dramatic. I know that there are even cancer patients who are not being admitted at all, who are being sent home. So this is a disaster. It's terrible that people with cancer have to pay for tests that should be done quickly. It's a tragedy, and that they have to wait at all. I think everything about healthcare in Poland is bad. Doctors are being forced to witness patients waiting a very long time for an appointment, or they receive information at the reception desk that the appointment will take place after the new year. And this is a very dangerous situation because this chronic condition can very quickly turn into an acute one. We sent a parliamentary inspection to several hundred hospitals, and it turns out that many of them did not receive money for the drug program. This is treatment with the most expensive drugs. It is treatment that people are waiting for, and they should not have to wait. And here's a list of some of the hospitals that responded to the inspection regarding unpaid funds from the National Health Fund for medical services provided. Hospital in Brzesko, 2.8 million zloty. Hospital in Czerwona Góra, 6.75 million zloty. Pulmonology Hospital in Koszalin, over 1 million zloty. Hospital in Lumbartów. Pulmonology Hospital in Łódź. Provincial Clinical Hospital in Rzeszów. Orthopedic Hospital of the Medical University of Poznań. Opole Oncology Center, 17.7 million zloty. Provincial Hospital in Wałbrzych, 16 million zloty. Tuberculosis Treatment Institute in Rabka, 4 million zloty. Adding another 3.5 billion zloty to the National Health Fund will still not be enough to pay for services already provided. The fund is short of approximately 14 billion zloty this year. According to estimates by the Polish Ministry of Health, the financial gap in the National Health Fund will amount to 23 billion zloty in 2026. Minister Domański should wait until he finds the funds and do everything he can to find money to contribute to the National Health Fund so that people can receive treatment and not have to wait months or years in queues. The most disturbing reports are those concerning the refusal to admit patients to oncology wards. Oncology was supposed to receive 4 billion zloty in support, but former Minister of Health Izabela Leszczyna canceled the program without giving any reasons. Today, a parliamentary audit was held at the Ministry of Health on this matter. The Ministry of Health announces the cancellation of the competition in question. The Minister of Health has decided to repeat the recruitment process in this area. The re-announcement of this recruitment process is planned for March this year. Minister Leszczyna first did nothing for a year, even though all she had to do was sign a document. And then she canceled the competition, as it turns out, without any apparent reason. This decision is based on the fact that the Central Anti-Corruption Bureau is conducting an audit of this competition. We had the opportunity to see the audit report, because it is a legal document and we can talk about it, and it shows that there were no irregularities. Patients are already being turned away. The directors of dozens of hospitals in Poland are suspending admissions for planned procedures, including orthopedic, surgical, and ophthalmological procedures. According to the Polish Ministry of Health, the recipe for healing the system is to close 30% of hospitals, or to propose that women give birth in emergency rooms instead of specialized wards. These proposals will of course affect the residents of smaller towns and villages the most. Italians want to revive luxury train travel with La Dolce Vita Orient Express, all with a touch of Agatha Christie crime novels, southern glamour, live jazz music, and a Michelin-starred restaurant. The concept was born out of a joint venture between the Italian group Arsenal, the French group Accor, and the state-owned railway operator Trenitalia. The idea is to restore the charm of slow rail travel from the mid-20th century with polished brass, jazz in the lounge, and service at your beck and call. I won't say how much we paid, because it's a gift for my wife. I'll say at the end if it was worth it. But so far, everything looks really good. Exceptionally good.
So far it's very nice. Everything is very curated. It's beyond my expectations.
On board, passengers will enjoy dishes created by Chef Heinz Beck, honored with 3 Michelin stars, and wines selected in collaboration with Vin Italy, the country's leading wine fair.
In the north, you will have a different menu than what we are doing, for example, in our Sicilian journey. But every plate is prepared in a proper way, in a perfect way, which is giving emotions.
Passengers describe the journey as unique and beyond expectations, praising the elegant interiors, refined service, and the feeling of being transported to another era.
I'm not a materialistic person. I don't have 5 houses around the world. I don't want them. They're just hassle. I don't even want 2. I've got 1 car, I got 1 house, whatever, and so forth, like a lot of other people and whatever and stuff. So what is interesting is meeting people and different experiences throughout the world.
The train operator also hopes that its elegant rail cars traveling through Tuscany, Sicily, and the Dolomites will allow passengers to step back in time to the Italian Dolce Vita, if only for a moment.
They might want to invest in a one-time life experience, or they just want to change and come from the yacht or from the private jet here on the train. What brings them together is that they want to be here. They want to taste this experience we are offering of La Dolce Vita Orient Express.
However, this type of experience that takes you back in time comes with a pretty high price tag. Prices for this elegant train ride start at around 3,500 euros per person for a one-day trip, and tickets for longer journeys can cost as much as 12,000 euros. Ukrainians are putting up fierce resistance to the enemy and listening for news from the White House. And just before Viktor Orban's meeting with Donald Trump, the American leader said something that has revived Kiev's hopes for peace.
Russia and Ukraine, we haven't gotten there yet, but I think we've made a lot of progress. As I said at the time, that historic accord includes the construction of the new Trump route. It's such a beautiful thing. They named it after me. I really appreciate it. It's actually a big deal. But it's the new Trump route for international peace. This is a road that's being carved and goes through some of the most important places.
Donald Trump is putting double pressure on the Kremlin. On the one hand, there are powerful economic sanctions. On the other, the continuous rearmament of Ukraine. The Republicans' goal has not changed. Since taking office, he has been striving to bring peace to our part of Europe. To bring about a ceasefire to end this war, a possible ceasefire with Russia, given the weakening Russian economy and the internal problems facing Putin, is indeed one of the solutions that Trump is pushing very hard for. There is good and bad news from the front. The Ukrainians have found an effective way to limit Russian aggression. Swarms of drones are attacking strategic energy targets deep inside Russia, and one by one, they are blowing up the Russian army's supply bases, huge warehouses mainly containing aviation fuel. They are striking critical Russian infrastructure, mainly refineries and power plants, in order to disrupt fuel supplies to the front as much as possible. I think this is a well-prepared Ukrainian operation, and it seems that Western intelligence, both NATO and American, may also be helping the Ukrainians in this. At the same time, heavy fighting is ongoing in Donbass, in eastern Ukraine, for Pokrovsk, a strategic city in the region. Here, hostile Russian forces have a huge advantage and may soon take complete control of it.
Russians have been trying to take Pokrovsk for at least 18 months. This would be the first major urban center they've taken since Avdiivka in early 2024. So it would feed into this narrative that President Vladimir Putin wants to project, and that is that his forces are moving inevitably westward and their victory is secure.
Nothing is decided yet, although it is an uneven fight.
Поки що складною, ще не критично.
It's very difficult at the moment. The situation is not yet critical, but the Russians have gathered enormous forces. We are ready to fight in the streets even when winter comes, but it's hard. Kiev is ready for peace negotiations and is waiting for the Kremlin to accept the conditions set by Donald Trump. We really need Donald Trump's support. We need American help. This will put decisive pressure on Russia. Sanctions are also important. They are also being felt in the Kremlin. Thank you for all your help. At this point, it is difficult to predict that the parties will sit down for talks before winter. Ukrainians are facing difficult months of fighting for survival.